Just a quick one before we dive in. I've just opened up 2 brand new ways to work with me. If you're an established beauty professional who's ready to increase your revenue, either in your clinic or by moving into the online mentoring and educational space, you can join me for a 2-month container where we build and validate your first online offer or your next big move. Or if you're ready to go all in, there is a 7-month private mentorship where we build, launch and scale your new revenue stream together. If you're not sure which one's right for you, I'm offering a handful of free business clarity calls, quick and powerful to map out your fastest path and to see which container fits best. Just DM me the word revenue on Instagram or check the link in the show notes and email me. Let's get into the episode. Welcome to the Beauty Build podcast with me, Zara King. As a coach for beauty pros, it is my mission to help you earn more, work less, and create an unstoppable mindset. This is the show where we explore all of that. So whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting your beauty business, this podcast is for you. So sit back, relax, and join us on the journey. And for more, get yourself inside my private community, The Beauty Build on Facebook. Hello and welcome back to another episode. I'm so excited for you to listen to this one today. I had the absolute pleasure of speaking to somebody that I'm lucky enough to call a friend, Rebekah Pritchard. She is insanely talented. She's a wonderful nail artist. She works with some incredible brands, and I know you're going to love this episode. Not only is her journey from working in salon and having her own salon at the age of 21 to, closing that salon and selling the business and then going into content creation for brands, not only is that going to inspire you, but she's also going to give you so many little golden nuggets for you to actually implement into your business. So this one is an absolute must listen, and I cannot wait to hear your thoughts. Please, if you do enjoy it, tag me and Rebekah in your stories on Instagram with a little screenshot. I hope you love it. So Rebekah, can you please tell us who you are, where you're from, and how you got into the beauty industry?
Oh, okay. I always hate this question. It's really hard talking about yourself, isn't it? I feel like you're at school and you have to introduce yourself, but let's go for it. So I'm Rebekah. I'm from the UK, if there's anybody listening who's not from England, and I live right in the Midlands, so right in the centre. And I have to think about how old I am. I'm 36. And how I got into I got into the beauty industry first before I kind of concentrated on nails. And I've just always been one of those lucky people that knew what they wanted to do from a really young age. I used to practice doing nails and even hair and makeup, all kind of beauty things on my sister growing up, when she was like a little girl, and she was just like my dummy. And I don't know. I was never really academic at school. I just knew that I was going on to do beauty afterwards, and that one day I wanted my own salon, and that was the dream for me growing up, to have my own business. And that's what I did.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You have done that. It's amazing because when I first found you on Instagram, I think it was Beauty Spot Streetly. And
Yes, that was my salon.
so how long did it take you to go from qualifying, for example, to then having your salon?
Okay, so I did 2 years at college
Yeah.
and then multiple other specialist courses after college. But I went to work for a salon for about 5 years after I qualified.
Mm.
And then I just decided that enough was enough there. That I learned so many skills when I was working at that salon that were just so important to be able to run your own business. They really nurtured me and really taught me what I needed to know. And I was very young. I was 21 when I opened the salon. And yeah, my sister was 19. We opened it together. We were kind of in a situation where my sister had got a 1-year-old at the time. She was kind of in between jobs, and I've always wanted my own business. And I said, should we do this together? And she was like, yeah. So we just went for it. We had a lot of support off my mum and dad,
Mm.
which was amazing at such a young age. And then we opened the salon. We ran the salon for 12 years. Um, and then kind of COVID happened
Yeah.
towards the last few years of the salon. And that was when I started to take a change in direction of what I was really interested in.
Mm.
Especially at the salon. I was doing everything at the salon, all the treatments, but in those last few years, I really honed in into the nail art, and kind
Yeah.
of that's where my love for it uh, really grew. I'd always been interested in the nail art, but it just really, really spiraled during COVID.
Yeah. Did you study any art and design or anything like that, or are you just naturally very good at artwork?
Just GCSE art, but
Yeah.
yeah, nothing. No, I've never done an art course or anything like that. I'm just
Yeah.
interested in it, and I'm just I'm a doing person. If I see something done, I can watch it, and I'm very good with my hands, and I can usually like copy it or make
Mm,
my own version of it. And
mm.
yeah, and I just like to practice doing crafty things, really. And yeah, that's where the nail art came into it.
I love it. And it's interesting that you obviously went into business with your sister and
Yeah.
it lasted for 12 years. Talk me through how it was when you decided to step away from the salon, because that must have been hard knowing that you two had done this together for such a long time.
Yeah, it was really hard. So again, it was just when I first opened the salon, I'll start from the beginning. It was like my absolute everything. And it was the best thing that I'd ever done in my life. It really was. I loved my salon. I was there all the time. I very rarely had annual leave. I'd just have one holiday a year, and I just loved it. I loved it so much. And then COVID happened, and we had to close the salon for such a long time. And I never really had a break from it in all of those years. So I didn't really know life outside of the salon.
Mm.
And it was when COVID happened and we were at home for such a long time that I had all this time to kind of experiment with nail art and really concentrate on that. That when I went back to work, I felt a little bit torn, a little bit like, oh, I really enjoyed the social media element, what I'd been building on social media during that time, but I also really enjoyed doing the clients.
Mm.
Um, and it was a bit of that. It was a bit of like what was kind of growing on the other side. I was having a bit of a taste of what else is out there, which it wouldn't have been possible without that time off. I never would have had kind of dipped my toe in.
Mm.
And then we decided, me and Steve, that we wanted to start a family. So I knew that I couldn't do everything. And at that time, it was just really exciting. And I was just getting some amazing opportunities come my way. And my sister had also had twins. So she'd had twins about a year ago. So I think it was just the right time for both of us to move on.
Yeah.
I cried my eyes out the day that I decided that that's what I was going to do. Like, I never thought I would sell it ever. I thought I'd be there like and retire like at the
Yeah.
salon.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I cried my eyes out. And I think once I'd had that cry, and I'm a very determined person. If I put my mind to something, I'm going to make it happen. So I
Yeah.
just kind of the next day was like, right, that's it. I'm selling it. We're moving on. This is what I'm gonna do. And then
Wow.
that was how it happened.
I love that. It's so good.
Yeah,
And it gives people that confidence to go, you know what, I can go with my gut and I can make things happen because if you can do it, then why can't everybody, anyone else? So I think it's
yeah,
inspiring the way it happened. And isn't it funny that we look back and a lot of things just came from the whole pandemic? So
yeah,
much changed for the better. I know
yeah.
it was such a hard time, but it is nice to hear about things that came from it that are so inspiring
Positive.
and so
Yeah.
good. I was going to ask you, what is it that actually made you think about going into working with brands after closing the salon and finishing up with clients? What gave you that kind of direction?
I think it was the fact that I had got a newborn, or I was kind of thinking about it while I was heavily pregnant. I didn't sell the salon till it was about 2 months before I was due to give birth. So it was right up until the last minute that we kind of sold the salon.
Mm,
And then it was it was the fact that I wanted to be at home with my baby. That was really important to me, and that was one of the key factors in selling the salon. I thought I can't do both. I can't have a baby and be as present as I want to be. And working with brands meant that I could work from home and work on my own schedule, work during nap times, bedtimes, and
mm,
be present during the time that was really important to me.
yeah,
That was one of the strongest factors for me
yeah.
with working with brands. And I love the creative side of it as well. I love what I like to do is create original designs
Mm.
that are just completely from my mind, and that's what I can do when I work with brands. There's sometimes a brief, there's sometimes like there's always a brief, like one I did recently with Essie was like an Italian Riviera brief. But
Mm.
apart from that, apart from we would like you to use our new collection, we would like it to be this theme. A lot of the brands that I've worked with are very open-minded because they've seen what I can do and let me go with it. And that is when I have the most fun.
Yeah. I love that set that you did the other day, by the way. That was for
Thank
that
you.
Essie.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
for that job. It looked stunning. Everything you do, I know I tell you all the time, but honestly, I feel like you can do no wrong when it comes to
Oh,
nail art. I'm like, how do you do it? It's so good. Um, but no, it's fantastic. What I want to know is it must be really challenging from going from the working with clients to then going, well, now I'd like to pursue this other career path, and get into more of that. Because in my eyes, it's a massive leap. So
yeah.
what challenges came with it and how did you navigate them?
There was like big financial challenges to start with because I had a full-time job and I was used to a full-time wage. And when you're working with brands and doing campaigns, it's not guaranteed work. So you can get like, I don't know, 3 or 4 campaigns 1 month. And then there's certain months where not really much happens for brands. Christmas time is like a massive time for brands. So you
Mm,
know that you're probably going to get some work Christmas time. But then sometimes in the summer it can be a little bit slower because they're kind of planning towards Christmas. So
mm,
you've got to be prepared for those dips and, financially. Also, like I find it a little bit challenging personally when you can get so many brand deals 1 month and then the next month nothing comes in and you're a
yeah.
bit like, oh, what have I done wrong? And you really have to program yourself to not think like that, to think like with a business head. And it's nothing that you've done wrong. It's just that time of year, or maybe you don't fit that brief. Maybe they're
Mm,
not what you're after for that actual campaign. So there's that as well.
yeah.
But I still do a couple of my very old regular clients. So I I keep my toe in there a little bit, and I think it's really important to still do a few clients to stay relevant, to be using the products, regularly, so that
Mm.
it's different when you're just creating content on yourself.
It's one of those things, isn't it? It kind of keeps you, like you say, like keeps your toe in the water. It keeps you like feeling good about
Yeah,
what's current and just talking to somebody as well. Because
yeah,
I can imagine it's pretty like well, although COVID sent you into the sort of thinking about moving on, but you go from such a busy environment with clients all the time, back to
yeah,
back every day, and then you
yeah,
work on your own because you go into content, or
yeah.
and it's like this is weird. I'm on my own all the time now.
So I had like everything changed for me
Mm,
during that time where I sold the salon, because not only did I go from doing like 7, 8, 9, I think it was like 9 hour days it was 9 hour days that I used to work,
mm,
to being busy seeing like 8, 9, 10 clients a day, to then being at home with a newborn baby on my own with a career change.
yeah.
It was a lot at first. So just keeping my toe in with them 5, 6, 7 clients that I do a month, it just kind of keeps me.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I can't really explain. It's my social bit. I see my friends and do social things, but I just really enjoy that time with my clients. That's my break.
Yeah.
That is my like me time with my clients. And it's nice to know what they want and what they're interested in, because social media is so different to what the everyday client wants.
Mm. Yeah, I can imagine it being quite different
Yeah,
when you've got to keep up with what brands are doing and what sort of things are going on. But then clients can always be different, can't they? Um,
yeah.
I was going to ask you what your day looks like now because you've been doing this now for a few years. So how long's it been and what does your actual working day to day look like for you?
So I would say, well, my daughter's 2.5 now.
Yeah.
So I've been doing this properly for 2.5 years. And obviously that's been building over those years. But my average day is not this, it's not, I don't have an average day. I try and be an organized person and plan, but you will know when you have children, you can plan and it just goes out the window that day. It really does. I have intentions and I definitely have days that look similar.
Mm.
And a lot of my time goes into her and I squeeze time for myself to create content. So when she's at nursery, which she's only just started nursery a couple of months ago, so again, it's changed.
Yeah.
But we have the morning together, we do lunch, we play, and then she goes to nursery and I get 2 hours. So I literally race home from nursery and I have already kind of got my inspiration, my color palette in my mind, what I want to create. I've got an idea
Yeah.
and I sit down and I have that 2 hour window and I can film a reel in that time and just get all my shots and everything. And then literally, I don't even have time to peel it off my nails. I'm back in the car and I'm going to pick her up. I
Wow.
go pick her up, we come home, we play, we do dinner. And then usually when she goes to bed, that's when I'll edit the reel. So
Yeah.
I'll spend, a bit of time then editing, putting together the reel. And sometimes I have to do that over the course of a couple of days because it takes time or I'm just
Mm.
not feeling it, I'm too tired.
Yeah.
That's kind of like my average day. But when I've got a campaign, that's very different. I'll have to do that on a day where I've got more time because that takes up a lot more time.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's hard, isn't it? And only having that little
yeah.
window. How do you find it when you have to shut off and be mum again?
I find it really hard going from my job to being mom, and
Mm.
I am a real career driven person. I'm a real big dreamer and I'm a real big I struggle to celebrate the wins because I'm always on to the next thing. So I'm always thinking, what am I doing next? What do I want to achieve? And I'm
Mm.
always working towards the next thing. And that's one of the biggest things that I struggle with switching from mom to work because I feel guilty when I am taking time for myself to try and achieve those dreams that I want. And I also feel like bad when I'm with her and I'm trying to do a little bit of editing while she's eating dinner, or I'm trying to do this, trying to do that. It's hard. It is hard, but I
Yeah.
think the older they get, you just learn to be a bit more adaptive and learn to steal any moment that you can
Mm.
where they don't need you.
Yeah. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that. It's hard. I completely get it.
Yeah.
It's hard. I just
It's
wanted
really
to
hard.
know how you might manage that. Do you know what I mean? Because it's nice to get different mums in business that are doing this stuff and get your perspective on it and get your,
Yeah.
you know, new ideas to me. I love learning from people that are doing this as
Yeah.
well. So,
My husband's so supportive. So when I
mm,
have a campaign, when I have work that's got a deadline, he he takes her out. He'll take her to the park. He'll take her out so that I don't feel guilty that I'm not present. I hate that. I hate it if I can hear her playing in the garden or if I hear her downstairs, Mum, Mum, Mum. I just want to be involved. So he takes that away, the situation away, so that I can concentrate on my work and I don't think I could do it if I didn't have such a supportive husband like that. I really don't think I could because he helps me mentally as well, not feel guilty. He's like, you need to do this for yourself. This is what you enjoy doing. This is what makes you you. So you take that time for yourself so that later on when you're playing with that, you're not thinking about anything else. You're not thinking about, oh, you've got to do this, you've got to do that.
yeah, I love that.
Mm.
I love that you have
So
that support there as well. It's such
yeah,
a game changer, isn't it? Sounds like
yeah, I am very lucky. I know I'm very lucky, but
so good.
as to managing it, that there's no secret. I wing
Oh,
it every
no.
day.
Absolutely. It's just every day as it comes, isn't it? Um,
Yeah,
so we could probably talk for hours about that. It's a completely different topic, isn't it? But I just
yeah,
love talking to you about like motherhood as well. When it comes to brands, back to brands and the people that you
yeah.
work with, what are the ways that you choose like which kind of brands to maybe speak to, or how do you approach these type of partnerships?
So I have a management, and we will have meetings, and they will basically say, "Who are you interested in working with?" And I'll put down a list of names, and they will approach them on my behalf.
Mm.
That is the best thing I ever did. So before that, I would approach brands myself. I'm not scared to say, hey, I want to work with you. What do you think? I will put myself out there, and I still do. I still do approach brands that I am friendly with and
Mm.
say that, and then we'll pass it on to my management if it's going somewhere. So definitely don't be afraid to do that. If anyone's watching and they want to work with brands, that's how I started. I just put myself out there and said, I can do this for you, I can do that, kind of put the picture out there. The, don't waffle on, but the more you say and the more interesting you make it, you'll grab their attention a little bit more.
Mm.
But now I have a management team who do that on my behalf. And going back to the mum work-life balance, that was the best thing that I did because I'm I'm just not great at that kind of thing. It's just not my forte. I like to create and I want to concentrate all my energy on creating the reels and nail art, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it takes that stress away for me. It does.
Mm.
And that's the best thing I ever did. And now, when it comes to choosing who I want to work with, for me, it's really important that I work with brands that I love and that I would use. I
Yeah.
would never team up with somebody where I don't use their stuff or don't like their stuff because I'm just a very honest person and I just couldn't live with myself and someone's going to use it and they're going to be like, that's not great. And it's my brand and my reputation at the end of the day that I'm putting out there. So it would be damaging. So
Yeah.
that's how I choose who I want to work with. I like brands that excite me
Mm.
and I like brands that that I want to buy the stuff. If I
Mm.
want to buy everything, then I want to work with them because it's
Mm.
good. There will be opportunities that come your way where the money might be great and
Mm.
you have to like take a step back and be like, but I don't like the product. And
Mm.
that's anyone's decision. But my decision is no, there will be another opportunity around the corner that is made for you that you're excited about and you love.
I love that you've said that because it's just triggered my brain. I was
Yeah.
listening to Stephen Bartlett today, and he said something about it was someone else's quote or interview about focusing. And
Mhm.
that's like you focus on this one sort of like the goal that you've got or the people you want to work with, and you're really focused, but then something shiny can come along and you do
Mhm.
it's great. But it's almost that like to stay focused, you have to say no as well,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
And I can imagine you've had to do that a few times.
Yes, I have. Yeah, I have. And it is hard when they say we'll give you X amount of money for this
Mm.
and it is hard. It is hard, but you've got to stay focused. And one of the things when I first started my Instagram page, I kind of thought about what I was about and
Mm.
what was really important to me. And I've stuck to that as I've gone along. And that's been like my core values. And if I'm ever at a crossroads, I think, would Rebecca back then do that?
Mm.
Would,
Yeah.
it was so important to her then. It's still important to me now, but would that Rebecca do that? No, she wouldn't because she had a goal. You know, she knew where she wanted to be. And is that going to help her get there? The money might be nice, but no, it's not.
Mm.
People are going to doubt her if she does that, or they're not going to trust what she says.
Yeah. I love that you've just said
Yeah.
that. And it ties me in really nicely because you touched on brand a minute ago and you've just said it again. Like
Yeah.
what you've built this brand up, you've built this on values. And I just want to know, like, what are those lessons? Obviously, that's one of them, but there must be more. What other lessons have you learned when you've been building out this personal brand of yours? Because it's all, it's in your name, it's you, isn't it? And it's something
Yeah.
that's so personal, although you are out there in this big, wide nail and beauty industry, you know.
Yeah. I've learned that you don't win every time.
Mm.
You can't win every time. And I've had to learn to be kind to myself
Yeah.
because I put a lot of pressure on myself and I've had to learn to just kind of let ones go. Sometimes you think you spent all this time creating something and it just isn't received the way that you think it is. And sometimes you can be really hard on yourself and think, especially now when time is more limited for me, time is a lot more precious. So when I've spent my own time creating content that's not paid work, so there's a lot of my content is just to keep my page going, to keep people interested, to show
Mm.
brands what I can do. And if it's not received in a way, you can really take it hard. And I've had to learn to just be kind to myself and have a word with myself and be like, probably the algorithm that day, or or that's a bit different for you. Maybe that's not everyone's bag. That's okay. I still liked it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have put it out there.
Mm.
So that's one of the lessons that I've learned. Definitely, like just take things with a pinch of salt and just keep pushing forwards.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. Um, how do you stay creative? And you touched on relevance before, but how do you stay all of that when I know you said you do a little bit of client work, but I'm thinking there must be like the clients are so different, like we said. So
Yeah,
how else do you stay, current, relevant, creative, inspired?
I don't know.
Good. Honesty, love that. You don't even need a
Do
fancy
you know?
answer.
I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah.
I, I just try and be myself as much as
Mm,
possible. I don't like to follow the trends. I'm an anti-trends person. I
mm,
like to try the trends on my clients, but when it comes
yeah.
to my content, one of my core rules in the beginning that I spoke about was that I only did original content. So you'll never see
Okay.
me do you'll never see me do something that's like on trend. It will be my version of it. You'll never see me copy something. I'll do it for a client, and I really enjoy doing it for a client. I love that because my brain doesn't have to think.
Yeah.
But when I'm creating for my social media channels, like I just really get off on creating something different and unique.
Yeah. You're amazing at it as well. And I think, again, it's one of them things that I say to you, I don't know how you do it. And I don't think you know how you do
I
it
don't I don't know. Honestly, that is a real honest answer. I don't know how I do it. It's just me. It
either.
just comes naturally. It does. I look on Pinterest. I don't look at nails. I look at
Mm.
artwork, fabrics, real life flowers because I like to do a lot of floral work. They're the kind of things that inspire me. Out in nature, I'll take pictures when I'm outside of the sky. I think, oh my God, it's a beautiful sky. I love that blue and that orange and that yellow together.
Yeah.
And then I would use that. It might be 6 months later. I have like a folder on my phone and I just go through and whatever I'm feeling on that day, I think, yeah, I'm feeling that. Let's do something with those colours or with that texture. Or I went for a real like texture stage. I'm not doing textures at
Mm.
the minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I went for a real texture stage and that's just what I do. I don't read magazines. I don't do none of that. It's
Yeah.
just purely what I'm feeling on the day.
Do you know how freeing it feels to me just listening to that? Like just trusting
Really?
yourself. Yeah, it does. It feels so good because I think so many times we can get caught up in that scroll hole, looking at other people. What are they doing? What is trending? What is going on in the nails? And just to hear you feel like so free and so confident in just doing you, I absolutely love it. So thank you. There are so many for people
Oh,
listening. I want people to go back and re-listen to that bit because in fact, all of it, but there are so many little golden nuggets in there that do you know what I mean? If someone was listening thinking, how are they gonna be true to themselves? I think there's so many golden nuggets that you just said, and I love it.
I love that. Do you know what? I've never really thought about it in that way. So as I was saying it, I was kind of realizing what I was
Mm,
saying, and I've never thought about it in that way. I put a lot of pressure on myself sometimes, and when the creativity isn't flowing, I've learned that I just need to take a break, and
yeah.
it will come back. Which was really hard when I was first building my social media channels. I really struggled if I had to take a break, and I'd get really cross and like upset with myself. And
Mm,
again, Steve was just like, you need to, you need to just take a second. He always says that I'm talented and he always tells me how good I am. And it's really lovely to have that person like egging you on and being like, you can do this. You just need to take a second. So,
love that.
yeah, I think it's so important to not be afraid of who you are.
Yeah.
There's so many people, and I can't stress enough. I don't want people to think that I don't like the trends because I absolutely do, and I love to do them on my clients. But
Mm,
just for myself, when I'm putting work out there, that works for me. That's work. That work is what I want to create, and just what comes out of my brain. And I think it's so important to just like be yourself.
I love it. Thank you. What advice, there's lots there, but what advice would you give to somebody that does want to move into brand work and collaborations, content creation?
Okay, so the first thing that I would do would be focus on maybe two brands that you really want to work with. And maybe one would be like a nail polish brand and one might be a gel brand so that you're not confusing the two.
Mm.
I would buy their products and make sure you love their products first. So make sure you play around with the products, create lots of nail art, or whether it's not nail art you want to do, whether it's like the clean girl aesthetic kind of work you want to do. Really focus on that. Make sure you tag in the brands, make sure you're tagging them in the reels, in your stories, communicate with the brands on their posts. So comment on what you like about their product, what they're advertising, say, I've used that, I love this. Try and make the comment a little bit interesting. That was what worked for me when I first started out. I think I'd cringe if I went back now and saw some of the comments that I used to leave on people's work. But again, that's me. I'm a little bit out there. I like to be a little bit quirky, and that got the attention of the brands.
Mm.
And then don't be afraid to message them, inbox them, and say, like, hey, this is what I do, or this is what I want to do. Please
Mm.
give me an opportunity. I'd love to work with you. You can
Mm.
ask to be on their PR list. Um,
Yeah.
the possibilities are endless, but that is how I would start out my career in working with brands. And then later on, you might want to think about getting some management and they can approach them for you.
Mm. Oh, thank you so much. Honestly, so much good advice. I love
You've
talking to you.
you've got to put yourself out there to be able to get something back. With social media, you've really got to not be afraid.
Mm.
What's the worst that can happen? Like,
Mm. Yeah,
you get a
I
horrible comment. You get a horrible comment. It happens to everybody, but you've just got to be brave. If you want to achieve those dreams, you've got to go out and get them. They're not going to come knocking to you. They're really not. You've got to put the graft in.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that. I think that is everything I take from that is put yourself out there, isn't it? Actually
Hmm.
make a move. And it's almost like you're sort of saying, like take control of the situation in
Yeah.
the way I hear it, because so many people, like you said, probably are just thinking, oh, well, nobody's asked me to do anything for them yet. And they probably think, oh, she's probably getting all these opportunities of landing in the inbox, but
Hmm.
actually it's not really the way it works, is it?
If you think about it, like how many nail artists are on social media?
Yeah,
Like
true.
millions, millions. And you've got to make yourself stand out, which is why I create original designs because that's different. That is my niche. So find your niche, find what makes you different, and make sure you stand out. And to find, you might be the lucky one where they find you and you're so skilled and you're amazing and they're like, hey, let's work together. That happens, it does.
Mm,
But if you want to work with somebody, get their attention. Don't be afraid to get their attention.
I love that.
It really works.
Good. And so it should as well. I think when you think about these brands and people in a position like for you, for example, if somebody asked you, isn't it a compliment? It's a compliment to them, isn't it?
Oh
And it's
yeah,
when you
yeah.
are successful, I think it is your kind of you have to, what's the word? Like pay it forward, help other people. And I think if you are the one that puts yourself out there, no one's going to laugh at you, are they? Do you know
No,
where I'm going with that?
yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
You know,
no, not at all. No,
don't
no.
be afraid.
Um, no. And there's some amazing massive brands out there, but there's some amazing small brands as well. And
Yeah.
they're really keen to work with creators. And that was how I started, supporting like some smaller, newer brands on their journey while I was on my journey,
Mm.
helping each other out. I've been a brand ambassador for a few companies during the beginning of my career, and that was amazing because I was getting their new releases of products. I was then able to create some amazing nail art because I was getting these amazing products, and then they were getting some content out of me to advertise their products. So you can start like that, and I would say, it's great to set your sights high with the big brands, but the small brands will also really support you, and
Mm.
it's good to kind of be on both sides of the coin.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Just before we finish up, I always like to make our listeners smile at the end and let them know as well, especially if they are in this industry and they're alone, just to lift them up at the end of an episode. If you've got any funny stories or anything that's happened in your career that would make people think, oh, like she is just a human being. Is there a story you can tell us?
Yeah, there is a story.
Tell
So,
me.
so this was, oh gosh, this was before I had my own salon. So I was very new to doing nails, and nail products were very different back then. There was like maybe like two gel nail brands. It was like acrylic nails. It was like fiberglass. It
Yeah.
was old school nails, guys.
Hmm.
There's probably a lot of people listening who don't like even know what fiberglass is.
Probably.
um,
Yeah.
yeah. So it was of the times of that kind of nails, and I was doing this particular client who was an absolute hoot. Like I loved her. She was a regular. She always like wound me up. Actually, I've just thought of another story with her, but we'll stick to
Okay.
this one. She always liked to wind me up because I would wind her up. We had the banter, it was great. And it was when you needed to apply like tips with like nail glue when you were doing extensions. I mean,
Mm.
it's been a very long time since I've done that. And do you remember when the you used to have the like the long nozzles on the top of like the glues
Mm.
and they used to get blocked?
Yeah.
Well, we used to share, I was working in a salon, we used to share the glue, so you never knew what kind of condition you were going to get it in. And I thought the glue wasn't blocked on this particular day, and I was going with the glue anyways. The nozzle shot off the end, went all over her finger, all over my fingers. She then touched the glue. She was like, "Oh, I'm all wet, Rebecca." And I was like, "Don't touch the glue." We ended up stuck together,
Oh,
and she ended up stuck to the desk. So I couldn't move to go and get any acetone or anything, and she was stuck to the desk. It was hilarious, but oh my gosh, it was awful. It was awful. We had to. It just ruined the whole manicure because I'd already applied most of the tips, and the
yeah.
glue had gone everywhere, and we got to get acetone on us to remove the stuck together situation.
Yeah.
So yeah, after that, I always checked the glue before I squeezed it, to make sure that it wasn't blocked, basically.
Really good
Yeah,
lesson learned.
yeah,
Very good
yeah.
lesson learned. I love it. There's so many things that that's reminded me of from my salon days, but I won't go
It's
into it now. Yeah, just so many things with clients where you could just be here all day, couldn't you? Um,
yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. That'll make people laugh today. Rebecca, thank you for joining me and spending your time
Oh,
with
it's
me.
been a
Really
pleasure.
good. I'm glad. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I've learned even more like about you. I know that we talk all the time, but it's really
Yeah.
nice to get to know those little bits about you and your journey that I didn't know. But yeah, thank you so much for all of those tips and the advice. And there's just so much in there that people will be able to make note of and actually implement in their business. So I really appreciate that. Can you just tell everybody if there's anything you want to talk about right now? Then let everybody know if there's anything upcoming that you want them to know about and where to find you before we wrap up.
Well, I'm currently working on, this sounds a bit scary because I always struggle when I'm doing something new because I always think, who's going to want to do that? I still have a little bit of that imposter syndrome, but I am actually putting together a subscription service at the moment. So, yeah, it's very scary because I feel like, what if nobody wants to do it? I just like,
They
that's why
will.
I've never done anything like this because I just think it's quite scary for me. But
Mm,
I thrive off the scary, and I think if it scares you, it's a good thing. And
mm,
I need to push forward. I need to move on to the next thing. So I am putting together this subscription of nail art tutorials, which I will be building monthly. So that's what I'm working on at the moment.
wow.
Not quite sure when it's going to be ready because with 2 hours, not every day, and everything else that I'm working on, I want to have a bulk of videos for people to watch when they first subscribe. I
Yeah,
don't want it to just be like one or two videos. So I want there to be a few videos for people to watch when they first subscribe so they can really sink their teeth into it and then look forward to like what will be coming
yeah.
monthly. So that's what I'm working on. So that's a bit of a secret. So
So
a bit
exciting.
scary. And if you if it never materialised, I chickened out.
Oh, no, it
No,
is. It
no, I
will.
will do it. I'm telling you because telling you means I've got to push forward with it. So yeah,
Amazing. Thank
yeah. And
you.
then everyone can find me on. So I'm on all of the platforms:
Yeah.
Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. What else is there?
Facebook,
Pinterest.
Pinterest.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm on Facebook, but I don't really do
Oh,
Facebook.
really? Okay.
No, I'm there. It automatically posts, but
Yeah, it's one of
um,
those ones. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But it's the same username everywhere. It's Rebekah X Pritchard, so
Okay.
nice and easy.
Yes, we love easy ones. I'm going to link everything into the show notes. Thank you for joining me again. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Go and find Rebekah, honestly. And I cannot wait to see about this new subscription service. We will have to get back on and we will have to talk about it when it's live. But thank you so much
Yeah,
for giving us that little exclusive.
yeah.
But yeah, for everyone listening, I will see you on the next one. And thank you again, Rebekah.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and gained valuable insights that will help you in your beauty business and life. If you did, please take a screenshot and tag me in your stories. If you've got any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to me on any of my socials. The links are always in the descriptions. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us improve and bring you more and more great content. Until next time, keep building that business.